Living in a lonely world. Once you learn to connect it, don't stop believing instead of believing. Some people are gonna be like, well, that was pretty good. Do you want to become a better singer? You want to sound better, but you're not sure where to start? Here are 5 easy things you can do pretty much instantly sound better. Most singers, no matter who you are, should be able to apply these things. There are some definite common threads between, an amateur singer and a professional singer, and I want to help you out today, okay? We all want to sound a little more profesh. We don't want to be that person that feels self-conscious because what you're doing just sounds weird. I have tools in my toolbox. I might change a song in real time, like while I'm performing it, if I can tell I need to sort of switch gears a little bit. And I want to give those tools to you. So here are 5 ways to sound better when you sing. Hello everyone, and welcome to The Voice Mood. I'm your host, Olivia Peck, your local millennial voice teacher. I've been a singing teacher for about 10 years, and I love it. It's actually from teaching beginning singers that I've learned most of what I'm about to tell you today. Number 1, connect words and notes throughout a phrase. Think about the song Ave Maria, okay? Ave Maria. All one phrase. It's all connected. I did that all on one breath. I managed my air to create the dynamics in that phrase. It was all connected. We do that in all genres pretty much. Hold on to that feeling. I didn't go, hold on to that feeling. Not only are you going to make it easier on yourself when you can really learn how to connect the notes and kind of make it like all one word, one arc. Once you get used to it, it actually not only makes everything sound better, but it's easier because you're not chopping everything up. Don't stop believing. You put those H's in there. I hear it all the time. It's sort of a habit we do to sort of break up the notes and break up those little leaps that we take, steps that we take in the music. Once you learn to connect it, don't stop believing instead of believing. It's really gonna sound nice. Some people are gonna be like, well, that was pretty good. So how do you do that? Think of things as being all one long word. Okay? So instead of just a small town girl living in a lonely world, it's gonna be just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Here's the difference. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. All one word. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. That was right in my break. Small town girl. All right, this actually brings me to my second point. Use your breath. I talk about breathing a lot because it's such a nuanced topic. Some people need bigger breaths than others, and it depends on what style you're doing. So I'm painting with a little bit of a broad brush here, but what's more important than taking a sufficient breath, which is important, but I think what's more important is how you use your breath. So when you take a breath in, we're not holding it in and then holding it till the end of the phrase. No. We're gonna use our breath. Sorry, my fridge is making a crazy sound right now. And now I'm scared. The fridge is alive. All right, you want to take that breath in, and I like to start with a speaking breath to see if that amount is sufficient for what I'm trying to do. And then I use it by staying connected to it. So if I'm singing, breath goes in my lungs like normal, like it always does. Doesn't go anywhere else. And then I engage some muscles in my core. And I gently squeeze, gently, and it keeps pushing out at a steady pace. But I'm managing it down here by my belly muscles. That's where I keep that speed that I want going for the breath flow, and I'm slowly using it as I go. Now, my sound, my timbre is going to change depending on how big of a breath I do, how quickly I release the air. It can change your sound. If I were to take a huge breath, Ave Maria, that changed my sound from a smaller breath, Ave Maria. When I took a bigger breath, it made sense for a fuller sound, maybe a bigger volume. In that part of my range, it made sense. But if I were to sing, don't stop believing, that's about as much as I could take. If I did any bigger than that, don't stop believing, it would be unmanageable. It would be too big for the type of sound I'm trying to achieve, and it actually might do more harm than good. It really depends on the type of singing you're trying to do and what type of voice you have, and I have a video about both of these things, both timbre and the weight of your voice and how breath plays into that. Timbre is more about how to create different sounds with your voice, different colors and qualities, and the lightness versus heavy voice is more about, why some of us need bigger breaths than others based on the type of voice you have, and it's more meant for contemporary singing. Whoa, moving on. Tip number 3, make sure you find the right warm-ups, exercises, and vocal instructor. When you go to sing and you're setting yourself up, or when you pull up a YouTube video that you really like, some exercises you really like, make sure that the sound you're creating in those exercises translates pretty easily, or at least creates a sound that you want to create when you go to singing a song. Because there's a lot of different ways to sing. And before I sit down here and make a YouTube video, I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't drink a bottle of haterade and like to hate on all other voice techniques and teachers. Whoever you get your advice from, if it helps you, great. Just know that different teachers have different approaches, backgrounds, styles, and so when they say you have to do this, like the whole breathing thing, the reason why there's so much contradictory information out there is because there's different results you get from doing different things. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to become a classical singer, you might have to do some different things too, singing more contemporary styles. There is crossover though, so I talk about that a lot. What's really important is that you feel supported and you feel like the sound you are creating and the way you feel in these exercises, warm-ups, and lessons really translate well to what you want to do in real life. Like, you want to be able to be independent, and that's my goal as a teacher, is like, how can I give you the tools to be independent? Your voice is different from everybody else's, so we got to find what works best for you. Tip number 4, be intentional. So many times we get excited and we just want to do a song on full blast. Not for really any reason at all. Instead of going, just a small town girl living in a lonely world, you might go, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Is that necessary? We all get excited. We have to give it some place to go. If I start on full blast, what's gonna happen when we get to strangers up and down the boulevard? There's gonna be no place to go. So we have to start with that idea in mind. These are called dynamics. So starting quietly and getting louder, or starting loudly and getting quiet. And how do you figure out what to do? Think about the intention, the lyrics. What's the vibe? Watch some other singers do it. What did they choose to do? Did you like what they did or not? And I think it's a common misconception to just like want to show off every second or want to be loud every second. A lot of these singers from the 80s, it was like the reverb was cranked up and they were really hardly singing. Life is a mystery. I hear you call my name and it feels like home. She wasn't blasting you with her voice. She was playing with it. Tip number 5, don't be afraid to play to your strengths. This is something that definitely separates profesh singers and unprofesh. Not that I really care that much about being profesh. Okay, but I think we all want to sound profesh. Here's an example. There was a singer from Bourbon Street, and I saw her at a karaoke spot, and she got up there and she sang Believe by Cher. Got off the stage, she just did the one song, and I was like talking to her a little bit, and she's like, all right, I'm going home. And I was like, okay, see you later. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I could sing that song for my gig in a couple of days. She's like, I wasn't sure if it was in my range. And of course, she probably would have moved the key or changed it if she had to. But she wanted to make sure before she sang it, professionally. And, you want to make sure it's going to be the right fit for your voice. Artists will change the key all the time, play to their strengths all the time. I will have students, they're struggling with a certain part of the song, and we'll kind of analyze it for a second, and I'll say, we can either get you there and find a way to make this sound that we're after that's similar to the original, or we can adjust the song to fit you and like your voice, your strengths. We can even tinker with the melody a little bit. We can tinker with the style a little bit. I have nowhere near the same voice as Post Malone. Gonna turn around till we were upside. That wouldn't sound very interesting in my voice, but if I go, couldn't turn around till we were upside down. So instead of couldn't be there, couldn't be there, even if I tried, even if I tried. I'm not singing it in his key. It's like, why? You can change the type of voice you use. So instead of singing, it's a love story, baby, just, you can do, it's a love story, baby, just say, yeah. Change up the tone, These are the things that you can start trying to do now. If you would like to take a voice lesson with me, check the description. I would love to see you. I do have openings at the moment, but spots do go fast. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I also accept voice memos. People all around the world will send me little clips of their voice, and I send them a clip of my voice back describing things you can change and adjust and work on. Reach out to me. I love finding people's strengths and seeing those light bulb moments happen. I do go live every Thursday, so be sure to leave your questions in the comments and I will answer your questions on my live stream. Would love to see you there, and if you can't make it to the live, I put a lot of timestamps in the comments so that you can catch your question later and see what I had to say. See how the Yap Factory did on that one. Most importantly, take good care of yourself and each other. Bye!